You keep saying you've got something for me, something you call love, but confess you've been messing where you shouldn't have been messing, and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. You keep lying when you ought to be truthin', and you keep losing when you ought to not bet. You keep saving when you ought to be a-changin'. Now it's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing, and you keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha! Well, I just found me a brand new box of matches. What he knows you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Are you ready, boots? Start walking. Well, guys, how you doing? Good evening. Good evening. So I don't normally do live streams this late, good streams this late, and I don't normally do them on a Sunday evening. But this has been a particularly weird Sunday. Some of my kids are sick this morning, some of the little ones. They have some coughs and stuff and sniffles. So we didn't make it to church today. And so anyhow, today is just like a normal hollow, secular, humanist day. It could be any day of the week. So I decided to join you all. Hey, it's Crying Shame. Hey, Michael, Florida Harper, Francisco, Alan, Mike, Dillweed, CD Sower, Roy Soto, Hey, Suze. Hey, Karen. Karen with the boots. Karen's bringing the boots. Karen, the emoji queen. Mike, let's see. Oh, yep. Hey, Mike says I learned so much from you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That's one of the reasons I love doing what I'm doing. My mom told me one day I should be a teacher back when I was a kid, and I'm like, no way, not me. I don't want to be a teacher. And here I am teaching gardening. So I'm glad that my mom was right. She was right about a lot of things. Hey, Shane. Hey, Rosehaven Farm. Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Flora Bama Homestead. Hey, Petros. So it's nice to see y'all. Dillweed says his books are the only books that helped here in Florida. I had somebody leave me a comment just recently where they said, I'm just about burned out. I can't do anything in Florida soil. Like, it's terrible. It's sand. It's everything dies and I can't do anything. And I'm like, yeah, that's what all Yankees say. But really, Florida has an incredible climate. Incredible climate to garden in, and you really just have to go with what grows in the climate you're in and start there. Make them the posts that hold up the rest of the tent. You know, that's your support. Your whole garden is going to be successful if you start with the stuff that does really well first. Look at, if it grows like a weed, plant it. And there are plenty of things that grow like a weed in Florida. Florida is beautiful and green. It's gorgeous. And it's not just toxic landscape plants either. There's so many things. There are so many things you can grow. So every time I get one of these, it's so sandy, I hate it, and I hate the bugs. I'm like, go back to your Yankee hell. Leave my beautiful Florida. Or learn how to grow in it and stop complaining. Nobody likes complaining. So, A little intense. Sorry, Sunday. Don't go to church one Sunday morning. Next thing you know, I'm getting punchy. So, hello, people that are showing up. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Joe's Garden. Thank you, Eric. It's good to see you, man. Eric's my neighbor from down south. Hey, Rachel, William. Good to see you. So, this is as if you saw yesterday's stream, you noticed that I had a very special guest, Scott Head, Black Gumbo Southern Gardening, and Scott is a fantastic guy, and it was really cool to actually meet him in person for the first time. He was coming through, and he got in touch and stopped by and spent the entire afternoon and into the evening with us. And it was great. We got to go through the garden, talk about gardening, and talk about his gardening, and he got to see all the stuff that I'm doing in person, and he said, wow, it's totally different, from being on YouTube. Everything looks really horrible in person. No, he didn't say that. Like, everything is just, this is just like, wow. I mean, it's big. This is really a lot of space, and I got to meet his wife. His wife is wonderful. They had a meal with us, and we ate, potatoes from the garden, and we tried the snake gourds from the garden, which were really, really good. Scott liked them too. And then, of course, we did that stream. We had a lot of fun. And then after the stream, we sat on the porch because it was getting cooler out. It was really nice. We sat on the porch and we talked for a couple of hours. And we were talking about the YouTube thing. And if you haven't noticed, Scott's channel has grown very fast. Scott is going to pass me. I think he's within like 4,000 subscribers or something, or 5,000 subscribers of hitting mine. And I remember when I first got in touch with him, I think I was at about, 70 to 90 range or something, and he was down in the 20s. And he's just kept going higher and higher. I'm like, Scott, what are you doing? How is it that you're like doing so well on YouTube? Where it's like straight up. And he shared some thoughts with me, and it turns out, I guess, when you randomly just do really, really strange stuff in between doing your gardening videos, and you don't stick on the topic, YouTube doesn't like that. The gods of the algorithms, wherever they are, don't appreciate it. So I think what I'm going to do, and I figured I'd run it past you guys this evening. I think what I'm going to do is just do a series of how-to videos. Now, of course, I'm going to have lots of weird stuff in them, etc. But I think I'm going to do a series of how-to videos on different topics that maybe would start out people in gardening. I mean, we cover, my gardening videos are pretty esoteric. But it is funny that some of the stuff that I've done that I don't think it's not particularly out there. Well, Alan, I'm gonna put on 100 pounds, and I'm gonna get a really good hat, so I could be like Scott. No, he's not 100 pounds more than me. Maybe 60. But what I was thinking is, okay, the how-to videos. I'll do a series of how-to videos because I have noticed that my how-to videos, like how to propagate sweet potatoes. Never give in to the gods of Google. You had me at weird stuff. And don't worry, I'll stay weird. I'm just thinking, like, if I could show people this is specifically how to do this, and how to do this, and how to do this, and do some of these things, that's what I'm going to try for a while, because I want to see if this thing could really fly. I don't know if you notice, if you look at my my recent videos, you can kind of see the patterns. If I show people like how to grow sweet potatoes, right? That sweet potato video I did, I think it got like 40 or 50,000 views. Let me look right now. You will see behind the mask, behind the mirror, The secret wizard of the YouTube. Okay, so if I go to my channel... By the way, if you have not gone to my channel before, please like and subscribe. Okay. How to set up a simple home plant nursery. 15,000 views. That's pretty good. How to propagate raspberries the easy way. 10,000 views. That's pretty good. Does my homemade terra preta work? 14,000 views. It's okay. Make a dollar store self-watering garden in 10 minutes for 20 bucks. 60,000 views. 60,000 views, and that's where you get your subscribers, and that's where you get your plug of the next things. It's the how-to. Now, how to propagate raspberries, 10,000 views. 3 ways to fix a mulch shortage, 42,000 views. But then when I go over and I look at end of April garden tour, 6.2 thousand views, 6,200 views. 6,200 views, so not particularly big. I made coconut biochar in the Great South Florida Food Forest Project. 6,200 views. Fruit tree grafting projects. Frankenstein fruit tree grafting. 4,400 views. The digging one, 14,000 views. Planting multiple trees in a single hole, 10,000 views. So that's like, it's okay. It's okay. How to grow a pumpkin patch without fixing all your bad soil, 17,000 views. That's okay. That's good. But grow grocery store sweet potatoes with this one weird trick. 93,000 views. Recreating terra preta, good soil for centuries. 115,000 views. Pruning a plum tree for better shape, which I did like right before those. 3,100 views. So you see that, it's like, maybe if I did how to prune a plum tree. It's like these algorithms are weird. It's weird. So I think maybe, right, how-to videos are the best to share in garden or homestead groups. I'm looking here. Yeah, I think a how-to series would appeal to normal people and help grow your channel. That's what Karen says. But I'm still gonna throw songs in them and raps. Don't worry, I'm not leaving you. But the stuff I realized, I was telling Scott, I said, I do what I'm interested in. Like, I'm interested in doing bizarre films about plastic dinosaurs. This has limited viability as a business plan. Rosehaven Farm says, just remember Justin Rhodes' challenge and what it did for you. This could get you to 200K, yes. How to flame weed a field. Yes. Now, the flame weeder one, calmly and reasonably reviewing the Red Dragon weed torch, 25,000 views. That's not bad. But foraging and cooking delicious Alabama edible wild mushrooms, which I think is cool, 2,100 views. Right? So 10 times. I could put the same amount of work in and get 10 times the views if it hits the algorithms. Because I've had a problem with, do I have time to do the videos? So I'll film the video, I'll kind of plan it out, I'll have the idea, I'll plan it out, I'll put it together, and I go through the filming, and we film a bunch of different segments, and then I spend a few hours editing it, and then sometimes I spend more time writing music for it, or doing voiceovers or fake commercials and that kind of thing. So there's a economy of time. If I put in a day's work on a video and it makes $10 in ad revenue, I probably should have been writing that day, So I have to figure out what content is going to be like, yes, we're so excited about this, and it's just like whoosh, takes off. So what I'm going to do is just rip off what Scott Head did, because I don't want him beating me. Obviously, he's going to beat me. He's going to beat me senseless. Can't have that. It doesn't matter if he's not as funny. He's not as funny. But people want to learn from him. they love him. And I love him. And I want to do exactly what he's doing. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. How to propagate raspberries. Gone wild at 3 a.m. Yeah. Raspberries will go wild, actually. You know. Could you throw your channel under the bus and add sexy women thumbnails? It's funny how well that works for garbage videos. Yeah, it really does. It's like I immediately know it's going to be a garbage video if it's got some girl doing, you know, it's like, oh, come on. Come on. People are so thirsty. Mickey says recreating Terra Preta got me onto you in the first place. That's cool. I think it is one of the coolest things. I love that concept, and that I am doing that for the future. If anybody could figure out how to, you know, improve soil, I'm hoping it's me. And I've got this horrible, horrible dirt. So, you know, that would be great. But thank you very much, Florida Herper. By the way, I appreciate that. Yeah, figure out what normal people search for, and then spring stuff on them. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. If I could get a video that gets a bazillion views, but you spring stuff on them. You know my harvesting rainwater video where it looks like I just rolled out of bed in the morning and I have a handlebar mustache and I'm like, and the lens makes my face look fat. And I'm 7 ways to harvest rainwater. That is my most popular video. And I never liked it all that much, except it is funny. Like it has good information in it all the way through because I had a lot of research and I wrote the script and it was based on stuff I'd actually done. And then at the end of it, it has a gangster rap over it. So, you know, it's not about like ditching the weird. It's about how do I channel the weird into something that is economically viable. Yeah, don't forget the scientist guy. Subliminal music that tricks people's brains into watching your channel nonstop. I like that. Let's see. You don't want to stop. You can't stop. You can't stop watching. You have to keep watching. David's a good. You have to give him a thumbs up. Give him another thumbs up on every video. You can't stop watching. David's a good. Please like and subscribe to hit the algorithms. Something like that. I don't know what's next. All I know is you and your wife are the funniest people on YouTube. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Christina says, what? Chanterelles rock. I was hoping you'd find some fall chanterelles among them to show the difference. You know what was surprising is that during that time of year I found chanterelles at all. Crazy. Because I really have never seen them in the spring. It's always been a fall thing. And usually in the fall I'll see the false ones too. Or things that look comparable, you know. Florida Bama Hood said planting a food forest in Alabama got my attention. That's cool. Don't be envious. No, envy is ugly. But what I do want to do is to learn from people who are successful. So I wouldn't even have this YouTube channel like this if it wasn't for Mart Hale saying, you know what, David, you should really be moving over to YouTube. He said he was doing YouTube and he was making a bit of money in ad revenue every month. And he said, you need to get over on YouTube and do this. He says, because what you're doing is interesting. And I'm not like, dang, Mart makes money and I don't make any money. This is terrible. No, what I did was, okay, I'll try it. I'll see, what did you do, Mart? Tell me what you did. And then later on, I'm like, Justin, what did you do? And he says, I'll tell you what, you do videos for 30 days and I'll tell you and I'll give you a push and whatever. So I did. So it's a good thing. You know. Yeah, start every video with an overly excited, hey, what's up, YouTube? Hey, you can't go wrong with the James Prigioni method. I've talked to James, and he's a very nice guy. I got in touch with him. I called him. No, definitely not lowering my standards. What I'm thinking of is raising my standards. What I'm actually thinking of doing is I'm not talking about selling out. I'm talking about buying in. No, I'm talking about what I want to do is have videos that are just tight and informational, and it gets it across, and it's still funny. But instead of, shucks, I've got a couple hours, I better film something, and whatever happens to be happening ends up on YouTube, I'll look at it more like, hey, this is like serious work. I'm going to do this like it's serious work and try to be on top of it and to make stuff that I know is going to jump rather than just doing whatever happens to be interesting to me, at the moment. I'm not familiar with reams, no. Improve your soil with composting. I mean, that's a good one. Christina says, your grafting video with all the Band-Aids brought me to your channel. And Christina, that grafting video and some of my other big demonstration videos, like 21 amazing trees you can grow from seed, are some of my most successful videos. It's like where I had a script and I spent serious time working on it. I looked at it like I'm going to do something that is really, really good. So that's what I think I need to do. I need to actually spend more time. Excuse me, Mr. Good, Simon says, but since you have been working out lately, you're going to change your channel's name to David the Buff. I don't think I'm that ripped yet. I better not push it. Rachel is another Rachel. Rachel's my friend. I've known Rachel a long time. All right, Hugh. Thank you, man. Boyd says one of my favorite videos is your B&G Blueberries tour. That one was so much fun. That's nice, Zachary. That's not appropriate, but it's hilarious. Oh, I need to have a knockdown, drag out internet drama with Steve. I could probably start something with what's his name, Jack Spurko again. Pretend you're visiting with your wife's parents for the first time ever for the first 5 minutes of the videos. Improve your soil with composting your enemies. That is good. That is good. I'm kind of working my way back through here. So, David the Buff. Yes. Ed says I watched the rainwater video because I installed a rain system. Yeah, and you've been around for a long time. Right, Mickey says because people are running from the cities and they're wanting to learn the basics for a modern view. That's what I'm thinking too. That's why I think Scott is so good at this. What he's doing is because he does what people need to hear. Not just what he's interested in, but what people need to hear. And he's not afraid to cover the same topics a few times over. Elizabeth says, I'm a pretty new subscriber. I found your channel when I was looking for info on composting, and your experimenting and your humor are what made me subscribe. Well, welcome, Elizabeth. I appreciate it. I love experimenting. Yes, Terry says, I noticed that topics like the how-tos with tips on how to do it with limited resources are really popular. Yeah, definitely. I need to use more buzzwords like tips, best tricks ever, most, etc. Yeah, oh my gosh. You're probably right. It's working. It's so beautiful. The song, the music. Can't stop the music. Thank you very much, Karen. Karen sends a $20 super chat with a thanks for being you. Thank you, Karen. Boyd says, I also enjoyed your yearly pound tally of food. It was motivational. Yeah, that was so much fun. Karen says, I kind of like the videos that are filmed over a few months, showing the beginning, middle, and end of a project, experiment, etc., all included in one video. Yes, I like doing those. I like them too. They're hard to do, but they are excellent. Like if you can remember and you store your video footage and everything, appropriately and you remember to do. One time I was doing a video like this on how to germinate banana tree seeds. Now, you never saw this video because I accidentally deleted it. I accidentally deleted parts of it when I was filling the card for something else because I was doing bits at a time. And I was like gonna go back and, you know, take the first bit, and then when the germination, when I soaked the seeds, and then when I planted them, and then like weeks later they germinated, and then I was gonna transplant them up and stuff, and I ended up deleting some of the middle stuff, so the video disappeared. I did the same thing. I've been working on a grape. I was trying to work on a little grape vineyard, but it got delayed. But I filmed the first part of it where I was marking it out, and then I accidentally deleted it. So I like the idea too. I'm just gonna work on it, you know. Foo Bear says, how did your 10 garden plot series go? It was okay, but not great. Jennifer says, how about interviews? Oh, hey, Mom. Mom always has good ideas. Says, how about interviews with other gardening experts who also have a following? Yes, it's a good idea. However, I just had Marjorie Wildcraft on, starting a tropical food garden, and it only had 2,300 views. 2 days later, I posted picking an entire meal from the garden, and it had 9,600 views, 9,600 views. Sorry, the way YouTube writes these things is a little weird. So, I don't know. The couple of expert interviews I've done in the past, I like the idea of it, and sometimes it may work, but it hasn't worked when I've done it. And definitely when I do cooking videos, it doesn't work. And it's funny because I talked with Scott, and he said the same thing. He says, when he does something that's not gardening, it doesn't work. Ed says, the ones I hate are the teasers that promise amazing, but when it's delivered, it's a dud. Yeah, I do too. Garbage. Terrible. I don't like it because it's like a lie. Fuber said, I thought about doing test videos like testing microbial inoculations or humic acid versus no humic acid, etc., etc. Yeah, that's true. Karen says, I noticed that a lot of the homesteaders I watch tend to mention other homesteaders' channels, and that helps build each other's followings. Yes, I have done that moderately often, but I also have... I tend to mention authors because I tend to think in terms of books more than YouTubers, because I'm actually not particularly... I don't really watch very many videos. I watch almost no videos. I watched a video earlier today on comparing the sound of different guitar pickups side by side on different pickup settings. But normally I don't do that. I normally don't watch hardly any other homesteaders, but it is worthwhile. When, like, if I have seen something and I find it interesting, I like to see where I got the source from. It is a good thing to do. And I was going to get Julie from Dirt Patch Heaven. I was doing an interview with her, but that never panned out. I recorded half of it, and we were going to get the other half recorded, and it hasn't happened. So, GM says survival gardening brought me. That's what I'm interested in. Like, can you grow your own food? Can you survive? You know, it's really cool. Arcade Zero says, hey, I live in South Florida, Zone 10 with 2.5 acres of sandy soil. Oh, it's Zone 10 with 2.5 acres. That's awesome. Just wanted to say that you've been a great resource as I try to learn how to raise some calories from my land. Thank you. You're very welcome. Yams, cassava, bananas, plantains, sweet potatoes, Seminole pumpkins. Those are pretty much your highest amount of calories for that climate. Shane says, I think a lot of it has to do with the titles. Liking, comment, and watch time also obviously helps with clickbait drives. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really like that, but you're right. I've done clickbait as a joke before because I hate it. And then it takes off, and I'm like, well, at least I did it ironically. There seems to be if a video, when it comes out, if it doesn't pick up very many views, it tends to putter and fade away even if it was a great video. Like, if it doesn't get a certain amount of views in the first 48 hours, YouTube doesn't even bother pushing it. Gone. Memory hold. Simon says maybe you could make a video showing some of your art. You know, I have done that before. I did some painting and stuff. They did very, very badly, and I had people saying they were going to unsubscribe because it wasn't gardening. I was going to film an entire 30 days of oil paintings. It was a total bust, so I quit. How to work out and get buff in the garden using just garden tools and lots of gardening. Yeah, except that I do a lot of chin-ups too, but it would be funny. It'd be funny as a joke. Christina says, I'd like to see your children. They have such unique viewpoints. They're always candid. What a blessing. They are a blessing. The problem is just, it's such a big, you know, if you put your kids out there, the entire world is watching your children. That's a lot of stress. It's not, I don't think it's really good for the kids or for the family. I mean, it seems like fun, but I'm very proud of my kids. I would love to show off what they're doing and have them talk and stuff. They're a lot of fun, but it's hard. Future viral videos titled 5 Weeds That Raise Your Testosterone. I mean, I'll tell you what. Back to the kids. I have 9 children, 1 on the way. If I decided to change this YouTube channel, this will give you an idea when you're talking about me selling out, right? If I'm going to sell out by doing more commercially viable videos. I'll tell you what, if I wanted to sell out, I would have my kids on all the videos, doing all the fun kid stuff, you know, playing with the chickens, hunting water moccasins, all that crazy stuff. I would put my kids all over YouTube, and people will be like, oh my gosh, that's insane. They have so many kids and they homeschool and it's so wild and fun. And how do they do their shopping? And it would be like 19 kids and counting territory. And it would be like watching this crazy, weird drama of a life that a lot of people kind of think is either fascinating and bizarre or scary, or they wish they had it, or they can't imagine anybody would do that sort of thing. You know, see how many shopping carts full of oatmeal they buy and all that kind of thing. I could do that, but I don't want to do that to my kids. I want to just be I want to be off. I don't want my kids to grow up trying to seek accolades. I don't want to put their lives out to be criticized and looked over by millions of people. You know, every little funny little mistake or something they do. Later on, they might look back and be like, oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing. My entire childhood was you know, watched by a million people. So, you know, I'm proud of them, and I know that if I was like, hey, I'm gonna just do this thing, it would go crazy, but I won't do it. So there's a level that I look at YouTube as this is part of my job now. You know, I teach gardening, and I'm really, really, really fortunate to be able to do it because it's something I love. And I didn't expect to have so much fun doing YouTube. I mean, it's kind of fun to do it off and on, but I was pretty awkward at it, and I'm really good in print, and to be on camera was different. And I didn't expect to be here, but I do want to take it. I want to take it seriously and make sure that I'm doing a really good job. And I want all of your input. What would you like to see? What would you like to see on this channel? I mean, we're headed for 200,000 subscribers. I'll probably hit it in the next year or so. I might hit it by the end of this year, if I can do this thing right. I mean, I've watched Scott's success, and I've been like, this guy, this is awesome. Here's another guy that I really like, who's doing it. So, you know, I want to do that kind of thing. I look at James Prigione's channel and all the beautiful gardens and stuff that he's got going, and yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun. But Karen says, I think Scott's Q&A videos also do well. You know, another great thing about the Q&A videos is it's the people that are watching. A lot of people don't really want to have a YouTube channel, or they don't know how to have a YouTube channel, or they're you know, a lot of you guys are just here to learn and enjoy and be entertained and kind of be part of a movement and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But you know, when you ask a question, and it gets answered, and then you get all of these comments back and forth. Well, you could try this, and you could try this, you could try this. That's really useful. So I think the Q&A is like, maybe he's gonna pick my question. Will he answer my question? That would be cool. It's a good idea. Dillweed says, thanks to you, we are the weird house on the block, and we live in the forest. That's awesome. Done that too. William says, the subject of creating a food forest is what drew me to your channel. Your character, realistic methods, and antics are what kept me coming back. Well, thank you. The food forest thing is always fascinated me. I love the look of a forest of food. I mean, it's just like, it's just so exciting, garden-wise. Lynn says, I spent a while today looking for a place to plant 4 baby peach trees that I started from pits after watching your video on the subject. I'm addicted. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Texas Farmer says, maybe your wife can have your next baby at a gas station like Justin Rose. No. Oh. Florida Herper, thank you for the super chat. And the weight. Oh, you put a weight in there. That's it. Gas station babies are so passe. Well, we need to have green energy babies. We need to be having our babies underneath wind turbines. We need to have our babies in a lithium battery factory. Foo Bear says, doing a worm casting experiment video with 0, 10%, 20%, and 50% worm castings in potting soil. I watched those for 2 days straight once. Yeah, it is fascinating. Firefly Wood says, I like the comparison videos of the different beds you did. I like doing those too. It's a lot of work, but it was fun the way it turned out. Explain central banking. Wow. Hey, Scott. How you doing? I hope you got home safe, man. Scott. Yeah, it was Scott's anniversary. So one of my kids wrote 30 on the mashed potatoes. Congratulations, Scott. One of my sons cooked dinner when Scott and his wife were here. Thank you very much for the super chat. Edwin says, my wife would be less mad at me for watching if you did show 30 days of oil paintings. That's funny. A video with Veronica Flores would be a big hit. Yeah, probably. More than one shopping cart of oatmeal. Okay, last time I bought oatmeal, I bought a 50-pound sack of oatmeal from a Mennonite grocery market. I bought 50 pounds of oatmeal at once, and we finished it already. Yeah, fame wouldn't be good. Of course I make my kids eat oatmeal. They like it too. Dillweed says, explain central banking. Yeah, you want to get into the history of the Federal Reserve? It's not federal, and it's not a reserve. It's a scam to enrich the banksters. The worst thing that ever happened to our country. But, anyhow. Yeah, good in print. That's like a face for radio. Yeah, that's right. Boyd says, I wanted to see some more survival gardening. We're so close to the end. Folks need help. Well, it's possible. Yeah, I think, look at the inflation rate and everything. It's a good time. Ed says, grow your attendance and views by sending emails to your following. I could help automate that for you. Well, drop me an email, Ed. I do have a newsletter. It has 20,000 people on it. And I email every couple of weeks. You need to start Pecky more. You're right. 3D Crazy says, show us your soil under a microscope. That's a good idea. Carolyn says, I want to see you do the how-to videos in an interview with Joel Salatin from Polyface Farm. Joel's fantastic. I am friends with one of Joel's good friends. So I'm only one person away from talking to Joel Salatin. Rachel says, I'm a huge fan of watching your experimentation videos, like the 12 amendment beds, Terra Preta, trialing the grocery row garden. Yeah, thank you. I enjoy seeing how things happen over time. And as a matter of fact, like doing that sort of thing on YouTube really allows me to go back and say, when did I plant that? Oh yeah, I posted the video on March 1st, you know. Hey, Suze, well, I'm glad you're here. Scott says, I watch for the experiments and to glean for what I can apply in my different contexts. Yeah, it was interesting comparing. You've got clay soil and a small yard. I've got terrible, terrible soil, but a lot of it. You know, it is interesting. Sometimes I wonder about having it, you know, what if I had only a tiny space? That would be interesting. Like, I'm tempted to just buy a little house with a little tiny yard. And then I'm like, no, I think I need more space. But Shane says, your gardening style has changed everything I thought I knew about gardening. I'm forever grateful. Okay, don't get too mushy, Shane, but I do appreciate it. The pink heart is a little too far. But I do appreciate it. Madalena says, same, the experiments, things that other people wouldn't do, out-of-the-box content. Yes, that's right. R.I.P. Rip Dynacola says, I would like your opinion on where we're headed as a country here in the USA. I've got a young family, 5 kids, and just want to teach them according to God's ways. I think the country is going to break into pieces. I think we are headed for the complete destruction. I think that the asset stripping of our country is going full force right now. And we're going to end up in a war, probably internal war, civil war, and probably break up into multiple different ethnic states that hate each other's guts and things will be ugly, and the Chinese may take the West Coast. But other than that, you know, God bless the USA. I think we're doing fine. But really, you do have to pay attention to God's law and God's ways, because that's the only protection. You can't protect yourself from things that are huge. You know, that's where you read the Psalms and you pray through the Psalms and you pray to the Lord and say, okay, I can't do this. I don't have the strength to handle these kinds of things. You gave me these children. Lord, you please protect them, because I can't all the time. And I trust that their souls and their bodies are in your hands. Thank you. Please watch out for them, you know. Alan says, everything about growing food for a community. Well, currently I grow for 11 people. And I have another, I have other friends that get a lot of our produce as well that we give away. But not really. I mean, it would be a different level of pressure to try, you know, market gardening or community gardening or something like that. And I'm actually not that much of a people person. I like people, but I don't like to be around people all the time. I have to recharge. Garden Gates Open says, I would like to know exactly how to make biochar. I watched the video where you made your own. It was good. I liked that video. However, I'm still not sure how to know the charcoal is just right. Well, basically, when it's burned black, and then I figure it's done. Usually when it starts to melt to white around the edges and it's glowing red embers and you put it out, that's what I do. I don't know if it's perfect or if it's right, but it's mostly charcoal. Looks good to me. Have your baby in the back of a Tesla with no one driving. That's a great idea. Plant Abundance has a sweet food for us. Yeah, Dan is cool. Dustin says, hey, David, I'm in Daytona Beach area and just started my food forest. Having some trouble with Seminole pumpkins and Italian zucchini, yellowing leaves, and fruit drops. Any ideas? Yeah, sometimes it's too hot. And what I would try doing is fertigating. I'm guessing you probably have sandy soil. So the fruit drop is usually a pollination issue. You can hand pollinate by taking the male flowers, just break them off, take them over to the female flowers, and dust the anthers of the male flower onto the stigma of the female flower, and that will pollinate them if you don't have enough bees around. Do that early in the morning when they first are opening, early in the day. And if you can fertigate, that is water with liquid fertilizers, whether it's my fetid swamp water, whether it's diluted urine, 6 parts water, 1 part urine, or Miracle Grow or Dynagrow, or even if you, got fish emulsion, fish and seaweed emulsion, that sort of thing, watering them when it's early, like dawn, when the dew is on the leaves, and you water them with that mixture, that can often invigorate them and bring them through, and in a week or so they really start greening up and they may start producing for you. But some years are just not good years because the weather is inclement, Just endless clips of your wife catching you shopping for seeds. That's funny. That's a good idea. See, I don't eat oatmeal because when I eat oatmeal, I feel like I'm going to fall asleep and I feel like I've eaten rocks and my heart races. But my kids like it. They love it. Most of them, not all of them. Particularly the little ones. See, we don't eat like sugar cereal and that kind of thing. I always eat high protein breakfasts. I usually have like 5 eggs with bacon and sometimes 5 eggs with ground beef and usually whatever vegetables are in the garden. Like lately, man, we've had tomatillas. We've had the snake gourds coming in. We had some chopped cabbage the other day. We had all kinds of stuff. Do I keep in touch with my friends from where I've lived previously? Some of them. Do I have any videos on mycorrhiza? No, not really. It happened on Jekyll Island. Making aesthetic small space polyculture beds is a great idea. I like that. 6 degrees from T to the G. Texas Farmer says, would love to see more cooking videos from your wife. Yes, but if you look at the views on my cooking videos or the ones that she's done, people like to watch them. There's a certain amount of people that like to watch them, but usually the view counts are really low. And I don't know why. Gardening conspiracy videos, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. One is being sprayed in the sky. Why are my tomatoes yellowing? Is there a connection? Did HARP bring this rain? Or this drought? Or directed energy women's bring this fire? Yeah, I mean... Christina says, I have a very thorough spreadsheet on when I germinate, transplant, and harvest my crops, their families, pest prevention, susceptibility. Oh my gosh. I just go out there and I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? Hey plant. Hey broccoli. Doing good? Cool. You want me to cut your head off or anything? Or you're going to keep growing? Okay, cool. Tiny space thing is great. Yeah, that's right. That trailer park garden. I think this is a great idea. A Scott Head versus David the good grow off. We have almost the same climates, except he's a little warmer than me. It would be fun. I don't think David realizes right now that I'm pouring eggnog, my secret weapon, into the base of this pepper pot. It's funny. Suburban Ute says, our country is in full-on satire mode. It deserves God's judgment. Yes. Am I on TikTok? No. I don't like how much it eats into your privacy, apparently. I looked into it and I was like, nah, I don't think so. Ed says, I would hate to kill anyone, even in self-defense. Oh, really? I lay in bed every night like, oh, God, please let someone break in so I can use this thing. No. No, I don't do that. Oh, my gosh. Demonetized. I have nothing wrong with somebody wicked getting it. I'll just say that. But, yeah. I suppose I could see that some people would not like to kill anyone in self-defense. But I'm always short on compost, so it's different. You know, there's a lot of land here. Karen says, I just noticed you're up to 130K. This morning it still said 129K. Congrats on the milestone. Well, thank you. The Grow or Die series. Hey, that's a good idea. I like that. Yes, that is a good set of verses, Christina. I don't see it happening, though. Discussing various survival plans from the book and referring the audience to the book for more info. This is a good idea. Oh, yeah. Those snake gourds, aren't those cool, Scott? I should have sent you home with some seeds. I do have some extra. Permaconspiracy, the truth behind the cult of perennials. Yeah, that's a great idea. How do you know when it's time to harvest Yautia? I don't know what Yautia is. Becky? The gardening conspiracy videos are covered. Is that by Danny at Deep South? Yeah. Googling eggnog is fertilizer. William says, I have a cousin that rents in one of those parks and he gardens in 5-gallon buckets. Works pretty well for him. Yeah, see, I think that kind of thing, like, I'm always like, here, this is how I'm going to garden in what I have right here. And people are like, gosh, you have so much space. So what I need to do is say, okay, this little space here is going to be my container garden space. And do a container garden space. And film that. Here's my little, let's say this is my condo's porch. You know? It's worth doing because it's actually useful. Look out when David is short on compost. It's a crying shame says, I'm trying to talk the hubby into getting a couple of fruit trees and pruning them into bushes for our little lot here. I think that's a great idea. We never grew a tree before. Oh, it's so much fun. Definitely fun. You know, you can make it work. You can make it work. It's not that hard. You're just going to have to cut them twice a year. That's it. It's easy. Eventually, they slow down, too. Shane says, my first deed of the G book was free plants for everyone because it came out right after I found David, and I'm a cheapskate. I'm a cheapskate, too. I'll never stop being me. And who me is a cheapskate. So, yes. How to hide your garden from the management. Oh, gosh. Okay, enjoy being. Yes, I did see that, and I think I wrote you that I wasn't particularly that interested in the magnetic thing. I just don't know. And it's like it's hard to figure out a lot of the stuff. I've seen so many weird things, like people burying rings in the garden and trying to, you know, like siphon the Earth's magnetic field around stuff. I don't know. I just don't know. It's like so weird. I tried to tell you how the ancients knew fired clay is magnetic and can alter water structure. But David the Good is afraid of electricity David the Good just won't listen to me. So I'm sorry. There may be something to it. I mean, I think that there's magnetism all around us. I actually walk around barefoot on purpose because I think it grounds you. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Hey, Brenda, nice to see you. Yeah, when you see the new Food Forest book for Florida, it is unbelievable. There is so much in it, and some of the, oh my gosh. Jeremiah Humphreys did some more illustrations for it too, and his illustrations are hilarious. There's this one scene, like, I was like, could you draw, like, how a food forest grows from year to year? Like, there's a series of stages of food forest growth, from when you first plant it to when it's big over your head. So in the final, like, frame, he's got Jack Broccoli standing there in the middle of the food forest, like, reaching overhead. Like, that's hilarious. It's just, this whole universe, it all ties together. You know? It's amazing. What's a natural way to get rid of flea beetles? Probably trying a little bit of dish soap and water, but man, those things are nasty. Yes, copper plows. I heard about that. I also heard about the copper, using copper forks in the garden. Yaute, oh, malanga. When to harvest it? Generally, you harvest it at the end of the rainy season, but I'm not particularly good at it. I have to say, I had quite a few issues with when I was growing it. I ended up growing a lot of it in a drainage ditch, and I would just pull out bits and pieces at certain times of the year, and it didn't do great. It really should be timed properly. There's a point where the root is just right, and it's usually when the dry season is starting, right before it starts dying back, but I'm not exactly sure how it would work in climates where it doesn't work that way. I'm guessing that in Florida you'd probably be pulling it around November, but I didn't grow it seriously until I moved to full tropical climate, and I was growing it in clay. And there was a very pronounced wet and dry season. There's one time a year when it was all ready. Biodynamics. That's right. Oh, enjoy being. I was so excited to connect the dot. Maybe that's it, though. Maybe it is the magnetism in the thing. I don't know. I mean, if you could send me an article on it, I'd be happy to read it. Sorry. I was so excited to connect a dot, and you just shot me down in flames. Magnetism. Sorry. New to my channel, what am I all about? I am about growing the most amount of food for the least amount of work, and for experimenting in the garden and seeing what happens, and growing with the climate that you have, and having a lot of fun. Making sure you can grow your own food in a crisis, definitely, but mostly, most amount of food, least amount of work. Oh, you put the clay in the fire again and it's remagnetized the place. So if I threw clay into the pit while it was burning, it would magnetize it to that spot? Because I thought when you lit a fire, generally it drives, like if you throw a magnet in a fire, it drives the magnetism out of it. William says, between the bird bath and the bird feeder in my garden this year, I haven't seen a single caterpillar or hornworm. That's a first. Oh, that's awesome. D to the G, do you have a basement? 'Cause there's an old book that claims that if you put a copper wire in the air and you route it down to a copper plate in a dark room, the plants will grow like under the sun. Gonna build a Faraday cage around my peach tree, baby. I'm gonna build a Faraday cage around my peach tree tonight. Maybe I will think about copper wire to attach magnets to my feet, then walk in biochar. These live chats give me so many ideas, so many ideas. Gonna build a Faraday cage around my peach tree, baby. Big Ben, how's the Terra Preta coming along? Did you see that I did an update video on that? It is going really well. The tomatoes that are in there are the best looking tomatoes that have, like, the stems are like that big around. The tomatoes look like they're growing in volcanic soil. It's unbelievable. Boyd says, hey David, one thing I haven't seen you do in Alabama is use your broad fork. You know what? My soil, even though it's sandy out there, is so stinking hard. It is horrible, horribly hard. And I forked up a bed when I first got here, and then I was like, the neighbor has a tractor. And I've just used a tractor. Terrible, huh? The other thing is that my friend Elizabeth, when she discovered how well it worked in her garden, she ended up borrowing it for a really long time. Like, it was gone for like 4 months. So when I was doing some stuff and thinking, you know, I should broad fork this to make it go deeper, I didn't actually have it. I do have it back now, though. So I talked to Greg Baca from EasyDigging.com a few days ago. That guy's brilliant. EasyDigging.com. If you have not been there, I like them. I bought tools from them and really like them. And now he's going to send me some tools to try out. So that's kind of fun. He's got a couple of like chopping hoes and stuff. It's gonna be cool. So Florida Herper says, what's your workout routine? You're looking more buff lately. Well, I appreciate it. I ate a lot of extra food to bulk up. I gained 25 pounds since I moved back to the States. But I have I work out 3 times a week, and I eat more protein. Heavy on the protein, low on carbohydrates. A little bit of carbs, more than I used to. And I go, and the first thing I do is try to do 5 sets of 5 on squats, on the squat rack. And right now I'm doing that at 130 pounds. So it's not a huge amount of weight to be squatting, but I'm working up to it. I started at like 90 or something. And I don't like doing squats at all. But I do that because that boosts your metabolism and it boosts your testosterone for the rest of the workout. And you're more up and ready to go. Like after you do that, then you could go do some other stuff. And then I usually do a set of chest presses. I'll do 5 sets, trying to hit 6 on each one of these. And I usually do that with a 60-pound dumbbell in each hand. And I will press like this because I injured my shoulder some years ago doing barbell, so I don't usually do the regular barbell. I'll do the dumbbells so I can just drop them. But I'll do 5 sets of 6 there. I'll sometimes do some chest presses on the machine. I usually try to do a ton of chin-ups. And I'll do as many sets of chin-ups as I can, alternating between pull-ups and then chin-ups like this, and then this way pull-ups. I don't know the difference. They have different names. Some days I will do 5 sets of deadlifts, and sometimes I'll do 5 sets of overhead presses. And I usually do a set of curls if I can mix that in, with the chin-ups and everything, and I haven't burned myself out completely. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of running. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of the biking, that machine where you bike like this as fast as you can in between other stuff. So, yes, David the Digger. I dig. I just dig. That's how I do it. I dig, diggity, dig. I like to dig. That's how I do it. That's how I get stronger. Christina says, "Have you ever tried no dig?" Oh yeah, I've done almost every gardening method known to man. I did lasagna garden beds long ago. I've thrown down cardboard, piled up mulch. I was doing that 15 years ago in Tennessee when I had clay, but I don't do a lot of no dig. The grocery row gardens are basically no dig, except that I dig potatoes out of them because they're permanent perennials. I like to stick the no dig stuff for perennials, but I also like to till and incorporate amendments via tilling and incorporate cover crops via tilling for organic matter for row cropping. I enjoy single row crops as well as doing more intense beds that are no dig. So I use a combination of methods, whatever's working great to grow food for different crops. Like corn is great when you can till in your amendments and plant corn and just plant them at 3-foot spacing, dragging rows, and then when that's done, you till it under and you go something else, Can somebody find Big Ben, the update on the Terra Preta video? And drop the link to that, please, if somebody could do that for me. David the Swole. Carbs and pumping it. No, low carbs. I don't hit that many carbs. Show us how to grow rice in the backyard. If I could get rice seed, I might try it. I think I probably could. I haven't tried it before, though. It was incredible seeing it growing in the rice paddies in Indonesia. It was unbelievable. Oh, Boyd, I hope you get better. I don't know how far away you are from me. Maybe we could bring some kids over and dig it. It's fun. What about mushroom ID and foraging? I have done that quite a bit. I've done some videos on it, but not a lot. Have I grown mushrooms? Nah, not seriously. I've fooled around with it a little bit. It's too much work. What are your thoughts on plant breeding? Landrace breeding from a swarm of varieties to develop your own varieties uniquely to... Yes. I've done that. I was doing that for a few years with Seminole pumpkins, but then when I moved to the Caribbean, I lost it. I lost the line. Unfortunately, I was breeding them together. Do I like blood meal? It works well. It's a very fast release. I usually use cottonseed meal if I want a slower release. But blood meal works very well. It's a fast. You got to be careful. It'll actually burn the plants. I like chicken manure and rabbit manure a lot because they're slow. But the blood meal will get things kicking fast, particularly if you're doing like a spring garden. You got a lot of greens and stuff in. You want it to be happy. Boom. Hey, Fishes Loves Life. Nice to see you. Yeah, there is dryland rice too. I just don't know why I would grow rice. I like corn. I like corn. Psilocybin. No, I don't have anything on psilocybins. I don't even know exactly how to identify psilocybin. I think they're supposed to be like fluorescent, right? And they're like huge. And there's usually like caterpillars sitting on them. Talking caterpillars. Have fun, Christina. Thank you. If I am making a mix for my own potting soil instead of cow manure, what should I throw in besides rabbit manure? If you can get rotten wood or small pine bark chips, those are both good. A little bit of sand is good. Some crushed charcoal that's been soaked is pretty good. Coffee grounds are good. Oh gosh, I put a lot of different bits and pieces in it. That's a good start right there, though. Even if you just have a big pile of wood chips and you let it sit for a couple of years, you dig into the middle of it, you can use that for potting soil. Joe says, will you be planting tropical fruits in Bama like the ones at your mom's home in Florida? Probably not. It's very difficult to keep them alive here. It's cold. This is a cold. I mean, we had multiple nights in the 20s. Too cold for most of those things, unfortunately. Madalena says, What also made me stick around is the fact that you talk about God. Not many do. Well, it's the most important thing. I mean, all the gardens and stuff are going to be gone eventually, but our eternal soul is the most important thing. So, and I feel like if I don't mention it, I'm not doing anybody a service, whether they like it or not. But I do appreciate it. I am not the best servant of God, but I am His servant. So, I feel like if I didn't say anything, I would not be. I don't know. Like I do care. I don't want people to just go through life aimless, or to get stuck on all the other stuff. That's not important. Too much. I mean, we can still talk about plants. Speaking of breeding, do you have the space and distance to grow different varieties of the same plant? Yes, but mostly this first year I've been fighting with really poor soil. Most of my work has not been like, oh, I'm going to start breeding plants now. It's been like, can this grow? What do I have to do, Oh, Joe says, how's that name you bought at the supermarket doing? Good. They've sprouted. They're coming up. I should film that again. They're growing. Busting out of the ground. They don't look like Alata. I think they might be Cayennensis or something. You need a black light or a lava lamp to identify them. That's right. Lovecat says, for the best potting mix, always include a few ham shavings. Lovecat, you're amazing. One day we must meet in person. Your sense of humor is just perfectly demented. Do a series on gorilla planting, go rogue, and start planting things around town. You get shot here. People have like 20 acres and a dog around this area, but what perennials do you currently have in? Oh my gosh. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, pomegranates, peaches, plums, figs, chase tree, chestnuts, pecan, sugar cane, true yams, canna lilies, strawberries, a lot of other stuff. I always put in perennials. Big Ben says psilocybin is a direct line to God. Well, I think it's a direct line to a God, but maybe not the one you want to reach. Yeah, the Father is the ultimate gardener. Hey, we were put in a garden to begin with. Would you garden in the new earth? Yeah, sure. What do you do for squash vine borer? I get mad. I get mad. I have tried like dusting the vines, like the middle of the vine with 7 dust. I've tried spraying. I was going to try spraying with neem at one point. I never got around to it. What I usually do is just bury a bunch of nodes. So I bury along the squash nodes so they root into the ground in multiple places. That's usually what I do. Permaculture for skeptics. Have a grown tree lucerne as a chop and drop as cattle feed, firewood, and befriend. Is tree lucerne the same thing as Lucania leucocephala? I think it is. And in that case, yes, I've done it. I actually have seeds. Forest elves aren't God. D to the G, do hazelnuts grow on in Alabama? I don't know. I planted them. We're going to see what happens. Christina says, so I want to grow a peach tree. How long from seed should I expect my first harvest? And where should I get seed? If you could find any trees growing locally, if you could find a farmer's market or a U-Pick or something where they've got peaches from your area, not peaches that were brought in from elsewhere, they should have the same chill requirements and I would plant those pits. I had my first blooms at 18 months after planting a pit. Peaches are very, very fast, but you could expect fruit within 2 to 3 years. It's pretty fast. How do you feel about biblical names for kids? I like them. I have a few with biblical names. Methuselah. Absalom. No, no. No. No, no, no. Have I ever tried companion plants with pest repellent plants like marigolds, rosemary, lavender, or whatever? Yeah, but I think the pests in Florida and in the tropics and in Alabama, they just kind of laugh. They're like, oh, thanks for the flowers. I'm just going to go over here and eat this tomato. You know, it's amazing. Yeah. We are the knights who spray neem. That's good, Peanut Bear. That's good. Well, I'm gonna call this night, but I appreciate the ideas. We'll do some interesting things. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Here we go. I got an idea. I'm gonna find it. Yesterday, all the algorithms were so far away. Now it seems as if they're here to stay. Oh, why did you two? No, I don't. That's not even gonna work. What am I even thinking? Why am I doing that? Well, guys, I'll try to get a, there we go, the copyright strike. If you sing it bad enough, they don't know. Anyhow, I'm going to get some more videos out for you guys. I am getting my books transferred over to my own publishing house bit by bit. So if you look on Amazon and some of my books are missing, that's because they're being transferred. They're in progress. A couple of things have been changed. The cover's been changed a little bit on some stuff, and that's happening. It's getting there. I have a very good friend who's putting that together for me. And the Create Your Own Florida Food Forest book is just waiting on the last few illustrations. And I'm gonna be treating YouTube like it's an actual job. So what I'm gonna try to do is do more of these good streams. And I'm also going to try and stay on top of video production and make sure that I am living intentionally in what I do. So, yeah. Anyhow, have a great night. Thank you all. God bless. Thank you to the members that support this channel. Remember, if you are a member of this channel, it only costs $5 a month, and you get to use the famous emoji. And I mean, wow, if that's not worth $5 a month, I don't know what is. Really, it's incredible. You also get to use the machete. But I want to thank you guys also for the super chats. Thanks for the ideas. Thanks for giving me somebody to talk to on a weird Sunday night. So, catch y'all next time. And until then, may your thumbs always be green.